So then with COVID and the first lockdown, what happened for you and your community of students at that point?
It completely stopped to begin with, because the studio obviously that I was using here closed, and then I couldn't travel to Edinburgh anymore. So for about a month, everything stopped because we all didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know whether we'd be able to teach again. And I've always disliked online anything. So it never occurred to me in the beginning to actually set anything up teaching wise for a while. And then I started getting, emails from people as other teachers started to set up yoga classes or whatever. They were like, oh, are you going to do something like that? Can we continue where we were at? And then eventually I got a few of those and thought, I can't really not do it. So I thought I better just figure out a way to teach online. So pretty much did the same classes, but online. No, that's not true. It's gone down from 5 to 3 because I was actually teaching for a studio. Some of the classes they employed me to teach, and they didn't want to share the client information. The clients that got in touch with me found me of their own accord, but the ones that I was kind of paid to teach, they, I don't think they wanted me to be teaching them like outside of their remit type thing. So basically lost some students, and then the ones that really were keen just got in touch.
Yeah. So were you teaching from home?
Yes.
Yeah.
From our tiny home.
So for those of you who were learning from you online, how did you find that, all of you together? What did you have to do to adjust or adapt to online teaching?
A lot. I found it really hard, to be honest, because I think the way I teach a class is very much based on what people come to me with that day. How the mood in the room is, how the energy in the room is, how people are looking, like, do they look tired? Do they look full of energy? And all of those pieces of information, pieces of input are almost non-existent when you're teaching online, because it's almost impossible to tell through a webcam those kind of pieces of information. It meant I had to really change how I thought about teaching and how to teach. And the way I see it, I feel like I'm not putting in as much energy into it because of that, because instead I've kind of been like, okay, I can't do that, so I have to kind of do something else. And I have developed a kind of routine where I just teach like a similar class every time, and try to improve where people are at as much as I can see. You can't even see people's posture that well.
Yeah.
So just trying to stop everybody going backwards, that's been the main thing. So I've not been able to do as much as I would like, or be as good a teacher as I would like. That's the frustrating thing I find with it.
Yeah, it is a frustrating. It's a frustrating medium.
Yes.
Also, it also opens up new things, like new students or people who you might not come face to face with it.
That's true. Yes.
But it does feel quite constricted at the same time, doesn't it?
Yes, and that's true. I have had actually quite a few new students who have only ever learned online, and that's been really interesting.
Right.
But I do feel that I'm constantly kind of frustrated because I can't just reach out and adjust somebody's neck or give the exact movement that this person needs but not that person needs, because you have to do it more for everybody. So I find myself kind of constantly frustrated. However, I have to say, I really love the fact that I don't have to leave the house or take a train to Edinburgh for an hour. And like, actually, that energy that I did spend on traveling and driving and paying room rentals and stuff, actually, it's nice to have that back. So I will miss it when it's gone also.
So have you stayed online from last year all the way through to now?
Yeah, I've only taken about 2 weeks off, I realized. I don't know, I think because you're doing it online, you don't think about it in the same way. Usually I used to do things in blocks and have an 8-week block and then have a couple of weeks off and then continue, but I've just gone all the way through because I guess just felt like everybody kind of needs to keep going till we are free to meet again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what are your plans for the next 3 months or so? You're going to keep it online, or?
I'm going to keep it online because yes, because of the whole studio issue. Like, I'm not sure when and how it will be possible to get back into a studio, and I actually don't have the energy to travel to Edinburgh anymore. And I need to speak to the Edinburgh students about that, and work out if we can keep going online and then maybe meet up once a month in the city or something like that. I think that would work better. So it has just going to have shifted things quite a lot, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating because I find the main difference is that I can't teach the form, you know, the 28, the Wudang 28. After a few months, realized that I can't. I'm sure a lot of people can, and I'm sure there's lots of people.
It's really hard.
No, I
It's like
find
left and right and stuff like that, and the position. Yeah.
And actually space, because we've got a really small space here, and so do most people, especially the people in Edinburgh in small flats. So I was like, I could actually feel the power of the lineage being drained as I tried to teach the 28. It was like I was just not doing the right thing. And I was like, no, I can't try and teach the 28. I need to let this go. So I let that go and put it on the back burner for everybody that had started learning, and explained this all to them. And I actually have kind of cobbled together all of the basic movements of Taiji in a little, I'm not going to say it's a form because it's not a form. It's not part of the lineage. It's just like a little routine or like a set, so that they can still learn all the basic movements and know all the names, and actually put them together into some kind of, you know, flow, so that they're getting the idea of Taiji and how it should be when we can actually do the 28 and be in person. So
yeah,
that's been fun trying to make that up. It's pretty hilarious. But it's meant that I can just do it, you know, mirror imaging everybody. So there's not all this constant like take 45 degrees this way and everyone's getting really confused. So yeah, I've had to do a bit of you know, making things up as I go along, really. I'm sure all of us have.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So the final kind of area that I've been talking to people about is, you know, these are unprecedented times, and also times where people have experienced ill health or disability. Students have been, you know, maybe have contracted COVID and dealing with long COVID and post COVID fatigue and things like that. When you said you've had a personal experience of post-viral recovery yourself, what could you talk to that issue and how you work with someone who wants to develop their training but is struggling with ill health or incapacity in some way?
Yeah, so I haven't personally had too much contact with that from students. What I've come more into contact is more like the lockdown side effects of people's brains becoming more and more fuzzy, and like, you know, the lack of contact stimulating people and becoming kind of depressed and low energy. That's what I've kind of been seeing more that I have to deal with myself. But if I do come in contact with that, I guess I would use the principles I used for my own work with the post-viral stuff in the beginning before I got to Wudang, which was to kind of be moving but not too much. So doing, you know, every day is the same, building it up a little bit, but being very, very gentle with the mind and gentle with the body as it comes out of that, you know, virusy place and tries to find a way back into health. And I think that the practices, I mean, Qigong and Taiji are just perfectly, it's like they're made to work with that kind of problem, you know. It's like they squeeze the energy in ways that means that everything opens back up and things begin to work properly again. and it's just a matter of being consistent and being disciplined, and the work will get done. So that's probably the approach I would take for all of that.
Yeah. Do you think there's a challenge for people to want to kind of overreach and jump up to a pace that's not right for them, do too much, and then kind of boomerang back?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's any, this is totally just through observation and in myself, but I've always felt that post-viral fatigue and these kind of things, it's almost as if they strike people more who are the type of person who usually does that bit too much and overdoes it a bit too much and is quite highly strung. So it's like you have to go against your own nature for a while until you kind of learn, you have to learn a new way. That's what I had to do. I had to learn a new way of living, because the way I was living before obviously meant that the virus just couldn't get out of my body. So I just had to relearn how to live in a much more gentle way.
Yeah. And then go and train in China Kung Fu for
Exactly.
build yourself back up again. Yeah. Amazing.
Exactly. I think that's why if I joined the program, I think it was true. I might have just gone that bit too far, whereas going back home every now and then and not totally becoming crazy over it all definitely kept me in check. Yeah, for sure.
Great. Well, I think we've covered all the main areas. Actually, that's been great to hear about your story and what's happening for you right now. If there are people watching who, I was going to say based in Scotland, but it could be anywhere, but want to kind of connect with you with the online classes and things, what's the best way for them to get in contact with you?
Absolutely, yeah, anyone's welcome. They're all very accessible, and I usually do about 45 minutes. I find that works better online than an hour, because people have kids and work and in a different way than normal. So I find it about 45 minutes works. And we just do Monday evenings, Friday mornings, and then just email. That's fine. I've also got the Sew and Ren Facebook page is still going, so you can send a message through that. But yeah, anyone's welcome anytime.
And the links are on the screen right now. Okay. Thank you, Richard. Welcome, and thank you for spending some time with us, Rachel. Really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. It's really nice to talk about it all. It's like it's quite refreshing,
Yeah.
It's made me want to go out and practice.
Yeah, well, that's the best place to finish, I think.
Yeah.
I want to stop you from your practice.